Yeah. Well, just coming off of uh, playing really well in Lubbock Wednesday night. I thought they had a great crowd. I hope they have those crowds every night they play. We certainly played well up there, and I think Craig Way say he's been going 30 years up there and hadn't seen a Longhorn team play as well as we played, and really of proud of our kids. And now we got a huge challenge in front of us in Morgantown tomorrow afternoon. They are really good. Might not play a team that plays as hard as them all year. They and Baylor is right there with them. They play extremely hard. They're really focused on defending and do a great job of covering for each other. Um, it's a way different team than they've had in the past, and it starts with just how hard they play. But they're very athletic, very handsy. If we'll go in there and do what I think we're capable of doing, take care of the ball, it may come down to making free throws. Because I really believe if we'll be aggressive like we always are, and we could go to the line 30, 35 times tomorrow if we'll do what we're supposed to do and attack them. But if we're passive and let them get after us like they do everybody, it'll be a long day. So we've got to be really aggressive. We've got to be like we've always tried to be and be in attack mode and attack their aggressiveness because they are very, very aggressive. They play extremely hard. And like I said, they're well coached. And of course, they've got great guards. Quinterly has been there now for a while, and she is ultra talented. We're going to have to do a great job with her. They've got a veteran on the other wing that's been to 3 different schools and has been a really good player her whole collegiate career. And then he brought his point guard with him from Stephen F. And she is a Power 5 player. She's just a great floor leader, floor general, and does a great job. So you can't overlook their inside players. They're 4 players, ultra athletic, plays extremely hard. 5-player can stretch you, shoot the 3, post you low. I mean, it's the reason why they're a top 25 team. And we're just going to have to go in there and play really well. We'll have to really be locked in when we get there and play well. So again, proud of our kids. But we got another challenge in front of us tomorrow afternoon.
Danny, go ahead.
Vic, first, is there an update on Taylor's availability for this weekend?
Yeah, she's available.
Yep. And then kind of going off that, you kind of are blessed with a lot of players down in the paint who all kind of do different things. I'm kind of wondering with Amo and Deanna kind of having the games that they had on Wednesday, do you feel they're best coming off the bench? Do you feel they're best in the starting role, or do you just kind of mix and match with those 5 that you have down there based on matchups?
Yeah, I think it's a matchup situation. I mean, I think, they obviously played well for one game together. As they know, and they would tell you, we've got to stack games now. And you stack games by stacking practices. There's certain things still that, everybody's got a limitation and a thing they need to work on. And some players do things better than others. And so we're trying to develop kids and make it where they all do everything well. But I think, like you started it off, I'm blessed with a kind of a smorgasbord of different players that can do different things. And so the challenge for me right now, Danny, is, trying to fit all these pieces and make it work. That's the challenge, because obviously we have we have a lot of different pieces that can do a lot of different things. A lot of parts to our puzzle, a lot of parts to our machine. And we've lost a big piece, lost a big part. We've been without our leading scorer and leading rebounder now for, 4 games, I think. And we finally get her back and get her available, but she's only really practiced 1 day. So, what that looks like early on, I have no idea. And so, we're a work in progress, but um, that's my job as a coach. I've got to figure it all out. Somebody gave me the analogy the other day. It's like Apollo 13, Danny, when they had their meteor strike and they're spinning out of, they're up there and kind of, they're spinning around and trying to figure it out. They figured out they had enough parts, they had enough pieces to get home. I really believe we've got enough parts and enough pieces to get home, but that's my job as the coach. I've got to do that and put us together and get us home. And so it's nice to get 16-7 back, but then that's going to put somebody else on the bench that maybe has been playing a little bit well, but not 16-7, that's for sure. But I don't know if 16-7 is ready to get 16-7. So she's got to knock off a little rust. So it just seems like get somebody to knock off some rust. We still got players that we're knocking rust off of. So,
Roger?
Vic, do you have to kind of be disciplined with Madison and her minutes? I know it's probably tempting to leave her out there, and as soon as you bring her out, the press gets even stronger. But how do you kind of handle that with her?
Yeah, it's really it's a real unique situation, obviously, and you just have to have other people step up. It's not just one person. Maddie would tell you her teammates are helping her, with the press and with the offense and everything else. We'll try to simplify some offense. I think we can with them a little bit, and but at the same time, the other night I took her out with about 10 or 20 seconds before the media was coming. And then when I put Gisela in, she played well enough where I didn't have to put her back in and I could rest her, and I didn't really plan on doing that, but Gisela had practiced well. She'd earned the right to be the first guard off the bench. And she came in, she immediately had an illegal screen called against her for us. And she was tough getting through that screen and made it illegal. She makes a big three in the defense's face when the clock's going down. So, when you can do that, when you can substitute, have continuity through substitution, that's really big and key for us. So, one thing I know about Madison Booker, man, she's a gamer and she's a competitive kid. And so, it's going to be growing pains for her, I think, all year. Her teammates can really make it a little bit more easier for her if they'll just step up and help her a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great comment today. We're going through all our press attacks, and Rory sitting on the side. She goes, "Coach, I never really knew what all we did in our press attacks." And I said, "Well, that's because a good press attack is a great point guard. When you have a great point guard, all that press attack stuff just really don't matter." And that's the thing. When you lose a player like Rory, who's a press attack, she breaks it by herself. That's when things change a little bit, and that's where we are.
Vic, obviously Rory means a lot to this team as a point guard, but defensively, just what she does, how do you go about replacing that and guarding a JJ Quinterly or some of these guards that West Virginia is going to throw at you this weekend?
Yeah, I think you saw it Wednesday night. You're not going to replace Rory in anything. Like, there's nobody on our team that's going to replace anything that Rory did at the level she did it at. I think what you find is that we forced 25 turnovers the other night at Tech, and it was because of Shea and Shaylee. those two did a great job defensively on those two really good guards that they have. And so, but they didn't score a lot. But our 4s and 5s really, really played well. Had 2 kids with double doubles. And so I think, I think Booker had, I don't know, maybe 12 and 7 or 16 and 7, 14 and 7, I don't know, but she had 7 rebounds. I know that. And so I just think you have to understand that there's just a different way to do it now. And maybe it's field goal percentage defense. Maybe you're not going to force as many turnovers or get as many steals, but maybe your field goal percentage defense picks up the slack and your defensive rebounding percentage picks up. Your focus is really there on one and done. I think that's, and I told the kids this today, Danny, they're better today than they were 4 days ago defensively. They've really started to become a little bit more committed on trying to guard and stop somebody. And again, I think the Baylor game, a little bit of a wake up, but I just feel like 4 days ago to today, we're better. And that's a credit to our kids for really understanding the importance of that into the floor. So, not one person that we have going to make up Rory. But I think as a group, I think if we can focus on a few things, I think we can be a pretty effective defensive team. And you got to realize Tech went down to Houston and hung 31 on them in the first quarter, hung 51 on them at halftime at Houston. We went to Lubbock and held them to 47 for the game. Our kids played extremely hard. I was really proud of our effort level. It was as good as it's been in a long time.
Where do you feel Madison's at defensively at this point in her career?
She's learning, getting better, understanding things, scouting reports. As you know, freshmen typically, it's just a different deal. But I think what she's learning is that it's important at Texas. Her teammates are really working with her and helping her hold herself accountable. And I think that's the beauty of this team. This is a great group of kids. If we can't do something, it's not because they're not trying. And as a coach, that's all you can ask of kids. So again, it falls on me right now, Danny. I really believe there's enough in that locker room. There's enough parts. There's enough parts and pieces to get us home. But I'm obviously the coach and the captain. I gotta get it put together right. And we're basically at 8. We've had 2, 4. We've had 6 practices now. 6 practices in 2 games, 3 if you count Jackson State. So that's not very long, and we're still trying to figure it out. But we're better. We're getting better, and we're getting healthy. And I really, I like if we can get Taylor back to her 16 and 7. That's a big addition to our team. If we can get Amo untracked and get her playing better and, like she played the other night. But you have to understand matchups are the key. We all know Amina Muhammad can guard 1 through 5. She's now inherited and is the best on-ball defender I have. And so, hard to take her out of the lineup when she does that. At the same time, if you're getting Deanna Gaston, who's first team all Big 12 healthy, you're getting Aaliyah, a little bit more healthy, and then you get Taylor back. That's a lot. Hattie brings a lot to our team, y'all, from a defensive standpoint and an effort standpoint. So it's really a challenge for me as a coach to get the right people on the floor at the right time in the game with the right matchups. It's a constant awareness for me and my staff.
Good answer, Coach. Let's go to Corey.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to talk to you about, your comments after the game on Wednesday, saying seeing the sun for the first time in a while. Just wanted to dive into about how difficult has this last week been for you, and what has your relationship with God kind of helped push you through this time period with all these injuries?
I was hoping to get through this deal without this, but I understand the question. Corey, there's no class that you take in school. There's no seminar that you take as a coach that prepares you for this. And, I love these kids like they're my own. And it's very difficult. I don't know that I've had, I lost Liam Moore last year, and that was devastating. When you lose someone who is literally the heartbeat of your team, the pulse of your team, that impacts your team, and then is the kid that Rory is, there is just nothing that gets you ready for that. And it's devastating. I don't understand. I've said that. I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand. And it's my heart aches for Rory, for her family. Talking about some of the most wonderful people in the world. Unbelievable parents. I've told her, I've told Amo, all of our kids, like all of my kids have wonderful families. They come from great, great families. And when something like this happens to a family, it's just, there's nothing that gets you ready for that. And it's just, it's a challenge, man. And, I've had a lot of people send me a lot of things and just trying to, keep me, because they know that they know I'm devastated as a coach. They know I care deeply about these kids. And it's just the thing. I think you have to pull verses from the Bible. You have to pull on your faith. I'm fleshy. I'm a poor, miserable sinner. I admit that. It's not supposed to question, but my flesh questions. But then I think you get a note from a bus driver. You get a scripture, Esther 4:14, to help you. With where your mind is, where my mind is. It's, back when Logan got hurt, I think I've told this story. 3 people reached out to me every day. One was a youth minister at a church we didn't even go to. One was my trainer, Radar, and the third person was Jackie Sherrill. And Coach Sherrill, his note every day was, "What have you done for yourself today?" And the answer is, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your son. So the answer is, if I don't take care of myself, I can't help Rory, I can't help her family, and I can't take care of the other 14 that are impacted. There's so much that's involved in all of this. And my main focus is on these kids and on Rory and her family and helping them get through this. And so, I pull on my faith a lot. Doesn't mean I don't ask why. And, but at the end of the day, I got to believe and I've talked to Rory about this. People will now watch her. They'll keep an eye on her. They're going to watch her growth and how she trains. My team will watch her commitment in her rehab. When she goes to rehab and there's other athletes in that rehab facility, how she handles herself in there, she can impact so many people right now. Unfortunately, in athletics, this is a prevalent thing. I was listening to Coach Ariema the other night, and he just had another athlete go down. This is prevalent in our sport. It's prevalent in women's athletics. And so you hurt for the kid, but you've got to try to impart on them, okay, here's where we are. Now what's our response? You know, that's the key. How do you respond to adversity right now? How does Rory respond to it? How does my team respond to it? And we want to respond in a way that's pleasing to God. That's the bottom line. That's the answer. What's happened has happened. Now it's how do we respond?